That's Doreen, that is. Yeah.
That was Doreen, yeah. And that was the last video clip I took of her. On that beautiful February day in the Lake District, she was fine. No sign of the aggressive and rapid change that had already taken hold of her. Life was good, and we were happy. The children had flown the nest, she was newly retired, we had just moved to our exciting new home, and we had great plans ahead. Our wedding day, nothing fancy, registry office, attended only by our mums and dads, and my brother getting away from work in his lunch hour, and Doreen in her self-made wedding dress. And what first attracted me about her? Her eyes, her hair, her smile. No, it was her legs. Shameful, isn't it? I wonder how many good relationships have begun with legs. I blame the miniskirts myself. And what followed them? How those yellow hot pants shocked Doreen's family in Scotland. I thought they were terrific. So there we stood, Doreen in her hot pants, and me, gesturing towards the great future that lay ahead of us. And she believed me. Oh, that scene of promising was caught on camera by Doreen's dad. He was good at catching those daft moments. Oh, those yesterdays. We spend our days like water and remember them as wine. And now, here I was, married to an art teacher. Fancy that, an art teacher with legs. Of course, she did have other good points, but I suppose our common interest in art first brought us together. But her art stretched out far and wide, in depth and sheer variety. In those early days, I was well into 8mm filmmaking.
Good evening, everyone. I'm very pleased to see
and Doreen was willing to help wherever she could.
Here this evening. Tonight, we have
There's Doreen. She's playing a normal person.
who specialises in heart disease.
And here's me. Well, I'm the born loser.
Ways of reducing stress in our day-to-day work in the office. And so, Dr.
We lived as primitive Stone Age man. We were able to give way to some of our more basic instincts. The physiological order of our bodies was, if you like, specifically designed for that simple kind of life. But now, in a modern, complex style of life, we are not allowed the luxury of letting ourselves go. The restraints of socially acceptable behaviour have taken their
So
toll
there it
on
was,
mental and physical
me
well-being.
seeing my dream fade away, and my wife as the cause of it all. But never mind. In real life, she gave me better dreams. She made us a family. Well, I suppose we both did, really. And as Alexander, Stuart and Tanya grew, we enjoyed quite simple holidays, often in country cottages. This was our Hereford summer, a time to recall memories of our own childhoods. And if we let it, that child inside us can remain for the whole of our life, and we can, at any age, reflect on that thrill and sheer energy of being young. But time inevitably moves on, because time can't wait. The children grow up, and for a while there are still 3 children, and then there are 2, and next there are none. Sad, but by now they are finding their own new horizons. Once again, just the 2 of you, and here's Doreen putting her right hand on my knee in a gesture of affection and togetherness, and me putting my right hand on the edge of the gondola and holding on for dear life. And where in the world is better to relax over a coffee, with a touch of magic added to the scene? The groom and his happy bride. Oh dear, the bride didn't seem happy at all. I felt like going up to her and saying, "Come on, marriage isn't so bad. It can be the best thing that ever happens to you. Look at us. We can vouch for that." And then he kissed her. And that changed everything. This could be anywhere, and it's not that she's not speaking to me, it's just that she's been told not to look at the camera. But if we could just stop and grasp that tiny instant, so ordinary and mundane, there's no way we can really appreciate the full value of these moments together until there can be no more. You know, she was so patient with me. Here she is, enjoying the view over Vienna, and here's me trying to get the video shot I want.
Have a look. I can't see you when you're looking there. And look there, just look as we're looking.
Well, someone finds it amusing.
You got your head back to me. Can't see you. Salute, no sign.
But now the onlooker seems worried. Maybe she's thinking, if this is how he treats her in public, what's he like at home? But no, as always, Doreen suffered my nonsense in good spirit. How did she manage? She could always get her own back. We were talking one day about this woman we knew. She had, to put it mildly, irregular teeth. And I said, it must be awful to be like that. And Doreen said, well, you're all right. Your teeth are perfectly uniform. They all stick out. He is rather cute, isn't he? And this one, a bit of a smoothie, I'd say. Now watch out, here's Big Daddy coming. These are just 3 of the characters Doreen had started making. The teddy bears were of a traditional style with longer arms and more pointed snouts. And these were prototypes, each carrying an identity with a trademark ladybird on the sole of the left foot. The collection of prototypes was beginning to grow. Our plan was to set up a small-scale manufacturing of the burrs. They were to be called the Burrs of Far Meadow. Far Meadow was a very special place. No matter how grey and depressing our day might be, the sun would always come out to meet us across Far Meadow. A place for children, for grown-ups, for all of us who at times need an oasis of calm and contentment. To help in marketing these burrs, I would create a website with stories involving the Burrs of Far Meadow.
And with that good deed for the day now done, the two bears felt very pleased with themselves. So pleased, in fact, that they just sat for the rest of that warm afternoon and gazed out contentedly across Far Meadow.
We all have plans and ambitions. Some we achieve, but some we do not. The Burrs of Far Meadow were put aside as we prepared to move from what had been the family home. A time of mixed emotions and revived memories of childhood.
Can't play it.
Remember this? It's not in front.
And then Tanya behind the camera, capturing the moments she saw as important. No sooner packed than it's time to unpack.
Come on in.
Doreen's mum becomes our first visitor. A fabulous mum-in-law and a much-loved granny.
Where's everybody?
Well, I'm putting curtains up.
Oh,
It did. It did.
right. This is the dining room. Oh.
Next morning there was time to look over the work that lay ahead. The renovation was certainly going to be an adventure in itself. And as spring arrived, we'd sit on that bench and talk of the garden we'd build from this bare stretch of grass. Our future was opening a whole fresh and exciting chapter of a new home, of travel, of weddings and grandchildren. But as spring drew on, Doreen began developing random, unconnected symptoms. It ended in hospital with a scan. Cancer in the throat, they said, but it hadn't spread. Doreen sighed and said to the doctors, "Oh, well, at least it hasn't spread. Just get me ready for October. It's my daughter's wedding then." 2 days later, she died. The resulting inquiry revealed the cancer had spread, and widely and aggressively so. Suddenly, all our plans were meaningless. Suddenly, the future was lost under a flood of images and moments from the past.
Never trouble with that.
Do you like being stretchy?
Back home, still on her bedside table, torn strips of paper marked the pages to help her in her planning for Tanya's wedding. This was the day Doreen had made so many plans for. The day to see her daughter happy and in the dress they had chosen together.
There is that well-known observation, you get more like your mother every day, generally used in a rather sort of negative context. Well, Graham, you know, if it can be said at all, and I think it can, that Tanya grows more like a mother every day, then the only thing I say is you're a very lucky man. Right, and I'm sure that Doreen is amidst us all now. As we raise our glasses, we stand and raise our glasses, the bride and groom. To Tanya and Graham.
She would have taken such pride in her grown-up children. Her 2 boys with their silly little sister, who they finally realised wasn't so silly after all. She was 1 in a million. No, seriously, I know people say that, but I've been working out and making calculations, and I've come to the conclusion that approximately 1 woman in a million would put up with me. So I suppose I've been rather lucky, really. In spite of the ups and downs of life that we all have, that did turn out to be a great future in front of us. In the words of Hermann Hesse, if I know what love is, it is because of you. Thank you, Doreen. You gave so much of yourself and asked so little in return from anyone. We didn't quite make it to build and realise our new home together, but I see the garden that finally came to be as a joyous celebration of our journey, now ended. But maybe not. You know, if we were to become spirits beyond this life, spirits who could wander about wherever they liked, there's only one place I'd need to go to find her. We were spellbound by the place. Our plan was to return again and again. After all, when you've got Venice and each other, what more do you need? We are travellers on a cosmic journey, stardust swirling and dancing in the eddies and whirlpools of infinity. Life is eternal. We have stopped for a moment to encounter each other, to meet, to love, to share. This is a precious moment, a little parenthesis in eternity. So what is it? Wandering spirits? Stardust? A whole new chapter? Or is there something else? Something quite different? Maybe far beyond even the stars, and beyond anything we could ever imagine.